The party was packed, laughter echoing through the house, music thumping just loud enough to make conversations a little more intimate, a little more secret. You were standing in the corner pretending to be engrossed in your phone, but in reality, you were hyper aware of him. You hadn't planned on coming to this party, but your best friend Mia had practically dragged you out of your apartment, insisting you needed a night out. Come on, Ryan, you have been cooped up too long. One night won't kill you. One night definitely wouldn't kill you, but what might was the presence of one specific person in the room, Mia's older brother Jungkook. For 2 days you had ignored him, 2 days of unread texts, of avoiding his gaze in the hallways, of making sure your paths never crossed. 2 days since he had looked you in the eye and called you a pick-me. The words had felt like a slap cutting deeper than you expected. It wasn't even said in anger, it was casual, tossed out like it meant nothing, but it had meant something to you. You weren't sure what hurt more, the fact that he had said it or the fact that he didn't immediately realize how much it stung. Jungkook had apologized over text multiple times, but you weren't ready to forgive him. He didn't get to act like nothing happened just because he felt bad now. Now you could see him sitting on a couch and his eyes were just fixed on you, but you refused to give him a satisfaction of noticing him. This was the first time it was happening. You good? You have been grumpy since you got here. You straightened and looked at her before nodding. I'm fine, just tired. You're acting weird, but it's okay. Why don't you just sit somewhere? She stopped in the middle, realizing there was no space left for you to sit. Pouting, she looked around and a teasing smile appeared on her face. She nudged you. I have a VIP seat for you and you'll love it. You looked at her confused. What seat? Just sit on my brother's lap, he won't care. Your body tensed, you shot her a glare. No thanks. She frowned, looking a bit surprised, but then she thought you might be shy. Come on, there's no other place. You refused to meet Jungkook's gaze, but you could feel the heat of his stare. The last time you spoke, he had the audacity to call you a pick-me girl. And you hadn't forgotten. You weren't about to sit on his lap as if nothing had happened. Then I'll stand. It's not like I don't have a pair of legs. Your answer caught her off guard, and now she was sure something was off between you and her brother. Mia looked between the two of you, confused. Wait, what is actually going on? Are you guys fighting? You huffed, folding your arms. No, Jungkook also walked near. She's just mad because of something stupid. Stupid? You echoed, glaring at him. You called me a pick-me, Jungkook. Mia gasped. Wait, what? Jungkook, how can you? Jungkook exhaled, rubbing his jaw like he was exhausted by the conversation. You were literally batting your lashes at some guy at the club last week, acting all innocent. Your jaw dropped. You looked at him angrily. I was not batting my lashes. I was being nice and making me jealous, he said under his breath. What? You asked, crossing your arms as your blood boiled. Mia, sensing an explosion coming, quickly grabbed your wrist. Okay, let's not fight over this. Just sit down, Ryan. I would rather not, you said, glaring at him. But before you could protest further, Mia pushed you forward, catching you off balance. A small gasp left your lips as you stumbled, and before you could catch yourself, you landed right onto Jungkook's lap. His body stiffened beneath you. The warmth of his hands instinctively steadied you before he pulled them back, resting them at his sides. A sharp inhale ghosted against your ear, so faint you almost missed it. Now make up by the end of this party, goodbye. Seeing that she left smiling, you tried to stand up, but Jungkook's arms wrapped around your waist protectively. Are you seriously still mad? he murmured, voice low so only you could hear. You didn't answer. I was an idiot. I know I shouldn't have said that, but I got jealous when you kept talking to that guy. Still, you stayed silent. Jungkook let out a slow exhale. You can at least yell at me. Anything is better than this silent treatment. Your fingers curled into fist. You embarrassed me even if we were alone. Jungkook's fingers twitched against your waist. He exhaled, tilting his head back slightly as if trying to gather his thoughts. I know and I regret it. I shouldn't have said that to you. You scoffed, then why did you? Silence stretched for some time. You shifted slightly, feeling the tension in his body, the way his grip instinctively tightened before he forced himself to relax. Because I was jealous, he finally said, voice rough. I was jealous and I handled it like an idiot. Your stomach clenched at his confession, but you kept your expression unreadable. Jealous? Of what exactly? His jaw tensed. Of you giving another man your attention when I have been standing right there all along. A dry laugh escaped your lips. So let me get this straight. You got jealous because I was talking to someone else, so you insulted me instead of acting like an adult. Jungkook's gaze darkened. I didn't insult you. That's not what I meant to do. That's exactly what you did. You reduced me to a label. You know me better than that, Jungkook. His fingers curled against your waist, grip tightening briefly before he forced himself to loosen it. I do, that's why I felt like shit the moment I said it. But you weren't just talking to him, Ryan. You were looking at him like he was the only one in the room, laughing at everything he said, leaning in when he spoke. You blinked, stunned by the intensity in his tone. Are you serious right now? Jungkook's jaw clenched, dead serious. Jungkook, you exhaled sharply, shaking your head. I was just having a conversation. You think I was flirting? He held your gaze unwavering. Yes, were you not? He said, raising a brow that made you a little nervous. Then you let out a bitter smile, and that's why you decided to humiliate me, because your ego took a hit. His eyes flickered with something, regret, frustration, something else entirely. Because I hated it, he corrected, because the thought of you looking at someone else that way made me lose control for a second. Your heart pounded, but you forced yourself to stay composed. You don't own me, Jungkook. His expression turned unreadable. I never said I did. Then what do you want from me? Silence stretched between you, thick and suffocating. Jungkook's fingers brushed against the fabric of your dress, barely touching but still grounding. I want you to stop pretending this thing between us doesn't exist, he finally said. I want you to stop acting like I'm just your best friend's brother and nothing more. Your breath hitched. Jungkook, I want you, and I can't stand the idea of anyone else having even a fraction of your attention. Your heart clenched. He was laying it all out, unfiltered, and it was making it impossible to keep your walls up. You can't just say that now and expect me to forget how you made me feel, you whispered. Jungkook studied you for a long moment, eyes tracing every inch of your face as if memorizing the way you looked when you were angry, hurt, and though you wouldn't admit it, just a little affected by his words. Then a slow, knowing smirk curved his lips. You know, if you keep looking at me like that, I might start thinking you actually like having my attention, he murmured, his voice dipping into something dangerously smooth, something that sent a shiver down your spine despite yourself. Your heart skipped a beat, but you kept your face serious. I'm still mad at you, Jungkook. His smirk didn't waver, I know, he said, tilting his head slightly, but you're still sitting on my lap. Your stomach did a ridiculous little flip at his words, and you immediately tried to move away, but his arms tightened around you, holding you in place. Not so fast, he murmured, the teasing edge fading just enough to make way for something softer. I haven't finished apologizing yet. You crossed your arms, trying to ignore the warmth of his hands resting on your waist. You think an apology will fix everything? Jungkook exhaled, his smirk finally giving way to something more genuine. No, but I'm still going to say it again because you deserve to hear it properly. His fingers brushed over your waist lightly, almost as if he was hesitant to touch you more than necessary. His voice was lower this time, quieter, meant only for you. I'm sorry, Ryan, he said, and this time it wasn't rushed or defensive, it was real. I shouldn't have let my jealousy get the best of me. I shouldn't have thrown that stupid comment at you just because I didn't like seeing you with someone else. He swallowed hard, feeling the sincerity in his words, and for what it's worth, I was jealous. But I was also stupid, which means I'll probably spend the rest of my life making it up to you. You rolled your eyes, but your lips threatened to betray you with a smile. Dramatic much. Jungkook grinned, sensing the crack in your armor. If it works, I'll be as dramatic as you want me to be. You hated how easy it was for him to make you laugh, even when you were trying to be serious, but the butterflies in your stomach, yeah, those were impossible to ignore. Before you could say anything, before you could even fully process the warmth of Jungkook's hands still resting on your waist, a familiar voice cut through the moment. Well, looks like my genius plan is working. You turn your head just in time to see her standing a few feet away, arms crossed, a smug smile playing on her lips. Jungkook let out an exaggerated sigh and shot her an unimpressed look. Mia, go away. Mia raised an eyebrow. Excuse me, I just reunited two soulmates. Where's my thank you? Jungkook didn't even hesitate. You are not getting one. Now leave. Mia gasped dramatically. The audacity? Then her eyes flickered between the two of you and her smirk grew wider. But judging by the way you're holding her, I would say my work here is done. You groaned. Mia, seriously? But before you could finish, Jungkook tightened his grip on your waist and pulled you even closer against him. You gasped, your hands instinctively landing on his shoulder for support. Jungkook tilted his head, giving Mia a pointed look. You're still here? Mia narrowed her eyes. Fine, I'll leave you to lovebirds alone. She took a step back, but then added with a wink, but don't forget who made this moment happen. As soon as she walked away, you turned back to Jungkook, your cheeks still warm from the way he had pulled you closer. You didn't have to do that. You muttered, your voice quieter now that it was just the two of you again. Jungkook hummed, his fingers casually tracing patterns on the fabric of your dress. Do what? Holding me like that. You said, but your voice lacked the bite it should have had. Jungkook leaned in slightly, his lips just a breath away from your ear. You sure you don't like it? Your stomach flipped. Jungkook. Because if you wanted to get up, you would have done it by now. He murmured, his breath warm against your skin. You glared at him, but he only grinned, completely unbothered. You're impossible, you muttered, and you're adorable when you're flustered. He shot back, his smirk widening. You huffed, but before you could think of a comeback, he gently brushed a strand of hair behind your ear, his expression turning just a little softer. I mean it though. I don't want to fight with you, Ryan. I don't want you mad at me. I'm really sorry. Your heart clenched. You wanted to hold on to your irritation, but with the way he was looking at you, it was getting harder and harder to do so. You hurt me, you admitted softly. Jungkook nodded, his thumb brushing lightly against your waist. I know, and I'm going to spend as long as it takes making it up to you. You bit your lip, looking away for a moment before meeting his gaze again. How do you plan to do that? Jungkook's grin returned. For starters, he leaned in close, his lips just a breath away from yours, by keeping you right here on my lap for the rest of the night. Your eyes widened. Jungkook. He chuckled, but before you could protest further, he simply tightened his hold, resting his chin on your shoulder like it was the most natural thing in the world. And just like that, your heart was a mess all over again. 3 years later, the air was thick with tension as Jungkook's bodyguards stood in front of him, their expressions a mix of frustration and exhaustion. She left without security again, one of them reported. Another sign, boss. She even scolded us before leaving, told us to do whatever we can to stop her, but well, she's terrifying. One of the younger guards muttered under his breath, earning a sharp glare from his seniors. Jungkook simply leaned back, a lazy smirk playing on his lips. He tapped his fingers against the wooden surface, amusement dancing in his dark eyes. And where is she now? He asked, already knowing the answer. We have no idea. Jungkook chuckled, of course. The guards looked at him in disbelief. Boss, this isn't funny. What if something happens? Jungkook raised a hand, silencing them effortlessly. She's my wife, he said smoothly, standing up and adjusting the cuff of his black suit. Do you really think she needs protecting? The guards exchanged wary glances. Jungkook wasn't just talking about physical safety. No one dared to mess with you anymore. After 3 years by his side, you were just as fearless as he was. Still, Jungkook didn't hesitate to grab his coat because whether you need protection or not, you were his woman and he always found you. The sun was set down by the time Jungkook arrived at the rooftop cafe. As expected, you were sitting at your usual spot, a cup of coffee in front of you, your eyes fixed on the city skyline. You didn't look up when he pulled out the chair across from you. You are mad, sweetheart. He noted, his voice laced with amusement. Jungkook smirked when you didn't answer. You know, the guards almost had a heart attack. They came running to me like you had declared war on them. Still, you didn't respond. Jungkook tilted his head, watching you closely. If you wanted my attention this badly, sweetheart, all you had to do was say so. You exhaled sharply, finally meeting his gaze. I told them not to follow me. They didn't listen. He chuckled. They are just doing their job, and I'm just doing mine, living my life without a security team breathing down my neck. You shot back. Jungkook grinned, clearly entertained. You really think I would let my wife roam around freely without keeping an eye on her? Your glare sharpened. I don't need babysitting, Jungkook. He leaned forward, resting his chin on his hand. But I like watching you. You huffed, crossing your arms. Not funny. Jungkook exhaled a soft laugh, then reached for your hand. You tried to pull away, but he held on, his thumb tracing slow circles over your skin. You're mad at me for a different reason, he murmured, his gaze unwavering. You clenched your jaw, refusing to answer. Jungkook smirked. You really enjoy seeing me making up for things, so what is it? He leaned forward, resting his chin on his hand when you didn't answer. Should I guess why? You stirred your drink absent-mindedly. Does it matter? Jungkook chuckled. Of course it does. My wife is mad at me. It's my responsibility to fix it. Your eyes flickered to him briefly before looking away. If you really cared, you wouldn't have forgotten. Jungkook frowned slightly. Forgotten what? It wasn't your birthday. It wasn't our anniversary. It wasn't... Jungkook hesitated. Baby, you're gonna have to help me out here. You crossed your arms. You forgot our cat's birthday. Jungkook stared at you, blinked. What? You huffed. Yuki, our cat. It was her birthday yesterday, Jungkook. Jungkook just gaped. You're mad at me because I forgot the cat's birthday? Yes. He blinked again. You do realize Yuki is a cat, right? You shot him a glare. She's our baby. Jungkook ran a hand down his face, biting back a laugh. Sweetheart. You promised we would get her cake and new toys. You continued clearly offended, and yet you were too busy acting like a jealous maniac at the gala instead. Jungkook let out a small, disbelieving laugh. You are seriously mad about this? Yes, Jungkook shook his hand, grinning. Of all the things. Alright, he says, standing up. Let's go. Yufron, go where? To buy Yuki a damn birthday cake. You try to keep your serious expression, but the corners of your lips twitched. And toys? Jungkook smirked. And toys. He reached out, tucking you up from your seat. You are unbelievable. You shrugged, and yet you love me. Jungkook chuckled, wrapping an arm around your waist too damn much that I'm making up for not remembering a cat's birthday. You glared at him. She's our baby, Jungkook. He laughed. Okay, okay, let's celebrate our baby's birthday. And tonight, after all the celebrations, I think it's time we work on making a real baby. Your breath hissed, but you refused to let him win that easily. Oh, and what makes you think I'll let you? Jungkook smirked, his grip tightening on your waist. Because, sweetheart, I know you too well. And let's be real. He traced his fingers lightly over your arm, making your skin tingle. You love me when I make it up to you properly. Your face burned. Jungkook. He grinned, pressing a quick kiss to your lips before whispering, Better get ready, Mrs. John. It's going to be a long night.